ragu and butter. I seen on TikTok, so I'm about to see how it tastes. Good. It tastes.
NaZiyah Harris was just 13 years old when she vanished without a trace from Detroit, Michigan on January the 9th, 2024. According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, the next day on January the 10th, 2024, her grandmother and legal guardian, Annette Harris, reported her missing to Detroit Public Schools. Sadly, NaZiyah nor her body has been found. So this video has resurfaced on the internet, and many people are saying that it appears to be Jarvis Butts in the video. Take a look at the video and tell me if you think this is Jarvis. Now, of course, it's not really a clear shot, but you can see the male as he comes into the video frame, and he kind of leaves the video frame. Now, of course, NaZiyah would post many TikToks on her page, and some of her pages have come down. So people are apparently, sharing videos. It's not just from one account. Sometimes, videos just pop up. So in this video, does it appear to be Jarvis Butts? Now, the song that she is dancing to is Cardi B WAP, and it became a TikTok trend. So at the point that NaZiyah is dancing to this video, people are saying, well, that's disturbing because of the song lyrics. But tell me, do you guys believe this is Jarvis Butts in the video? I'm going to play this part of Jarvis Butts' interrogation, and I have enhanced it, so you should be able to hear it. At this point, investigators have already talked to Jarvis Butts about NaZiyah Harris. Now, keep in mind that NaZiyah Harris went missing on January the 9th, 2024. This is the same date that Jarvis Butts was due to turn himself in on an unrelated weapons charge. Okay, so that charge, if he would have turned himself in, he would have had to stay from January the 9th until December. Prosecutors say the motive to Jarvis unaliving NaZiyah Harris was that he did not want her to give birth to any child, especially his child. Considering the fact that NaZiyah Harris was 13 years old at the time she disappeared, she would have turned 14 in September. Jarvis Butts, of course, in 2024, he was 41 years old. So prosecutors say that was the motive. He was already a convicted offender. And at this point, she was texting him. She was sending him text messages saying she cannot do this gym stuff. So Jarvis Butts, according to prosecutors, felt that he was backed in a corner. So he was supposed to turn himself in on January the 9th, 2024. He got that date adjourned to February the 7th. So between this allowed Jarvis to buy himself enough time to take care of this legal issue as he
that Jarvis Butts told any detective or any officer that he testified to, but in highlighting those, he denies to Detective Mays that he was with NaZiyah at all or had talked to NaZiyah at all on the 9th, denies ever picking her up, denies to, even when confronted with the January 9th messages, he said that it wasn't him initially. Obviously, we heard in the subsequent interviews, specifically on June 1st with the OIC, he came off of that. He told Shannon Harris that NaZiyah texted him on the 9th. She says that he never did that. And we have some of their messages in the record as well. He denies going to a hotel and denies going to a hotel with NaZiyah Harris and denies having any sort of sexual relationship with NaZiyah, even though the text now messages completely prove that that is an absolute lie. We also have his motive. We know from Sergeant Jones that he was going to be going into custody supposedly on January 9th until roughly December, I believe, is what Sergeant Jones testified to. We know that that date was adjourned because he said in his interview that he had a legal issue. He said it was out in Clinton Township, but I submit to this court that that's not the legal issue he was talking about. He was talking about the legal issue he would have had if NaZiyah had been left alive. He had to make sure that when he was in custody that she was not going to give birth to any child of his. That's his motive in this case. That's why that's January 9th. Sentencing date was adjourned to February 7th so he could take care of that potential legal issue. He was being told consistently by NaZiyah throughout the months that she might be pregnant, and then on 11/27, she says to him that it's hard to do this gym shit with this baby.
No questions I wouldn't have the answer to, so I'm just trying to understand something. So this right here is a brief synopsis of Zaza's interactions with you and your phone number that you had since 2019. Okay. And so right here on the day that I'm concerned with, this is right here.
Don't forget, be there before. Yeah, that was when she sent it. I was supposed to pick them up that day, but I never responded.
You did.
What I do?
So then, the next one, she responded.
And if you send a message,
So I can delete your number.
no, I don't. Like I said, they send me.
Hold on. Look, before you explain it, just look at the times. They back to back.
Oh, yeah.
And we in school. She in school. And then right here, she tells you to respond, okay. That's you. That's received.
I did receive.
So, and you said, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So, those, like I said, those are the numbers they were sending me.
And pausing at 1 hour, 48 minutes and 7 seconds. I'm gonna go backwards. To 1 hour, 13 minutes and 49 seconds.
So, okay, so yeah, that's what we saw. Okay. All right, so your original date was in what was your original date?
Yeah. November the 20th, the day before my birthday of last year.
That's when it happened?
Oh, no, when that case happened?
No. When did you supposed to get sentenced? Because we got 2 dates. We got January.
So what happened was I was supposed to get sentenced last year, the day before my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We went to court, whatever the case may be. They adjourned it to January the 9th.
That's the day we got.
Right. So I had a legal issue pending. And I asked to get it extended before I could take care of my legal issue in conjunction.
Mm-hmm.
That was January the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, then they scheduled it for February the 7th.
To go.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm pausing at 1 minute, or 1 hour, 44 minutes and 44 seconds. Hour, 15 minutes and 52 seconds.
Okay. All right, so what's your relationship with Zaza, like on the day to day? Like, are y'all have any interactions? Just y'all y'all got a niece uncle relationship?
Yeah, we kind of like niece uncle, and I also get her and my daughter from time to time.
Your daughter who?
Janiyah.
How you spell it?
J-A apostrophe N-I-Y-A-H.
Janiyah what?
Butts.
Go ahead. How old is she?
She's 10.
Black female, 16.
Okay.
Okay.
No, she's 10.
10.
Oh, I thought you said you so soft spoken, right? Okay. 10. Okay. Go ahead.
So I get them from time to time. I do cleanups.
Okay.
A lot of times, sometimes I used to use them. And then when I worked at my old job, Frank's, I used to have them come and clean up my office and my bathroom and stuff, like maybe like twice a month, give or take.
Okay. And where's Frank's at?
That's on East 1 and F.
Did you pay him?
And pausing at 1 hour, 17 minutes and 3 seconds. starting at 1 hour, 22 minutes and 1 second.
What's your password to your phone?
That's a facial.
It's a facial recognition.
Yeah, it's a facial.
So if you weren't able to use your face, you still have a pen. What's that number?
04
04
1925.
1925. Okay. So, so if I need to know the last time you talked with her, okay, brother?
No problem.
All right. So would you be willing to give me a consent to do that real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. What type of phone you got?
iPhone.
iPhone? What? Okay.
Yeah, I can't mess with iPhones. You looked at me like, what kind of?
JRVIS.
I'm sorry, man.
We have a Jarvis we work with.
Yeah, I work with a
So
Jarvis.
we keep trying to spell it in name.
All right, so iPhone. What color is it?
Glass.
Okay, it's glass. You said it's 11. Man, your phone number 313-585-8719. Password is 041925. And
When the last time you used that phone?
Right before I got locked.
Okay.
Matter of fact, the morning before I turned myself in.
Okay. Did you cut the phone off or is it still on?
No, I turned it off. It's still on as far as company wise.
Company wise, right? Okay. Where did you leave the phone?
It was actually with one of my girlfriends, man, because she brought
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait, hold on, back up. Back up. You don't understand. I can't understand.
Yeah.
Hold on, I heard you say baby mama, 13 kids,
Yes.
fiance.
Yes.
You live with who do you live with?
Angel Leonard, my
That's the fiance. And we got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, player. One of the 5 heartbeats?
No, man.
Okay.
I actually used it before I went to sentencing.
Okay. So she has your phone? She had your phone.
From my understanding, the police have my phone.
Now, who did they get it from?
Her.
We asked because we don't know this info.
From my understanding, they conducted a raid on her house.
Okay.
why are they raiding her house?
I don't know. That's the same thing.
But she had the phone.
But the phone was in her possession.
Okay.
So,
And that's where you left it when you got locked
In
up.
my jacket in the car.
Okay.
what type of car?
Suburban.
What color?
Tan.
Okay, I'm gonna go check.
Is that your car or her car?
Hers.
Oh, okay.
And then pausing at 1 hour, 24 minutes and 50 seconds. Playing at 1 hour, 32 minutes and 16 seconds.
Due to the snacks, whatever the case may be. And I know she was getting older, so she was into certain things. Like I come up, she had little fingernails and shit on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know grandma wasn't.
So why just not give it to her?
I earned it.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
the
that's
value is so the mentor thing.
Yeah,
Then.
so earned it.
So you mentor. Would you talk to them about anything? Or?
Depending on, certain little things, I would ask them how school would be. Nothing serious, like I say, I wouldn't pay too much in the family business. That would be kind of thing. But like I said, everything that you had to do, you had to earn it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you wanted something, earn it.
Mm-hmm.
You appreciate it more. So that was my whole thing on that. So me, I used to just give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They would take advantage. Every time I pull up, do that, like this, do that. And it's a lot of kids over there, so I can't keep giving
Yeah, not
everybody $5, and that looks real bad if I just give you money every time you have asked for it, or she asks for it, and I can't give it to everybody else. So therefore, you guys want something, I got a job for y'all. If I have something for you to do, I'll call and let you know. Every time they come in with $25 a piece, depending on.
Okay. So, all right. So, I want to ask you about this area real quick.
me see that. Confirm that photo. Make sure we're talking about the same person.
What's that? That's Zaza. What's her government name?
NaZiyah.
NaZiyah.
You know about when that picture might have been taken or where?
I don't.
Okay, after hearing this part of the interrogation, what are you guys' thoughts? Obviously, Shannon Harris already testified in the preliminary hearing that in order for NaZiyah to go up to Jarvis Butts' shop, she had to ask Annette Harris, who was her grandmother, legal guardian, if NaZiyah could go. So they were allowing it. Shannon Harris already admitted at this point that they were aware of Jarvis Butts' past. And if that's not enough, keep in mind at the point that they're allowing NaZiyah Harris to go up to Jarvis Butts' shop, NaZiyah had already complained about Jarvis Butts inappropriately touching her, which there's a video on my page where I went through that, okay? So at this point, NaZiyah Harris has complained about Jarvis Butts touching her. We know CPS said that they failed to talk with NaZiyah Harris because although her name was in the report, she wasn't listed as the victim. So please, if you haven't checked that out, go and check that out. The video is on my page. So at this point, they already know all of this, and they've allowed NaZiyah to go up to his shop. What are you guys' thoughts about that? Now, I'm going to play this portion here from the forensic scientist that testified at the preliminary hearing. The significance here is that I see comments that they're like, well, he said he checked himself into the hotel. Why didn't they go to the hotel and do DNA testing? They did do the DNA testing on the mattress. There was a stain on the mattress, and they're going to talk about that here, okay? She also received NaZiyah Harris earbuds, the mattress covering, and the fabric mattress pad covering and plastic mattress piece. Although this has been discussed, what hasn't been shown here on my page is the report. So if you're a visual person and if you like to follow it alone, you can follow alone. Now, what is interesting is because she talks about the shower drain, and this is from the Park Crust Hotel that Jarvis Butts checked himself into, right? And there's speculation that he was at this hotel, that NaZiyah was there. So DNA, where is the site, where is the scene, of where he may have potentially unalived NaZiyah Harris? People were saying, go to the hotel. They're going to explain that they tested the mattress cover, the stain. So what are you guys' thoughts about this?
In this case, I received the buccal swab, and for a reference sample or a buccal swab or blood, known DNA from an individual, everyone has one or two what we call types at each of the locations within the DNA. So when I see one or two at one of these locations, I know that's only one person. If I'm seeing 3 or 4, two people in that sample. So for a reference sample, blood or buccal swab from the inside of someone's cheek, there would only be one individual present because that's directly from that individual.
Okay. And what you do in your process doesn't change or alter the DNA in any way, does it?
No, everyone has their own unique DNA profile. It is specific only to that person unless they have an identical twin. Every cell in your body has the same DNA profile that is unique to that individual.
So in record number 4, you came up with some interpretation. What does that mean?
So when I look at the kind of the picture of that DNA profile, I'll interpret how many people are there and then make comparisons to any known samples and the evidence.
Okay. So in interpretation number 1, you obtained a profile from the Jarvis Butts buccal swab.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and that was sufficient for comparison purposes.
Correct.
What does it mean to be sufficient for comparison purposes?
So DNA must be above a certain threshold for evidence or references. And in this case, that DNA profile was all above that threshold, and it can then be compared to evidence.
Okay, and the interpretation number 2, you obtained a DNA profile from ID card swabs that was insufficient for comparison purposes.
Correct, the amount of DNA there was just too low and did not make it above that threshold, so I couldn't do anything with it or compare it to anything.
So you can say there's DNA there, but you can't compare it to it.
Correct.
And that was the entire substance of record number 4. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. In record number 5, what evidence did you analyze in record number 5?
I received earbuds that were submitted as a possible alternate known. Fabric mattress pad cover cuttings. Plastic mattress cover piece.
And these earbuds, alternate known. What does it mean? What does alternate known mean?
When there isn't a known sample from an individual, occasionally they can bring in, an agency could bring in an alternate known. Usually this would be a toothbrush or, something that you knew belonged to them, a comb or something along those lines. And then we could use that as an alternate known for that individual as their known sample.
Okay, so as opposed to there's a straight buccal swab from them or a hair strand from them.
Generally, buccal swabs or blood samples are used as references
Okay.
or known samples.
And in this case, do you know what alternate known you received?
With the alternate reference known possibly for the victim in the case.
Okay. What an alternate known, could that also be like a blood card from the birth?
Yes, that there are blood spot cards taken at birth that can be obtained from hospitals to be used as known samples.
Okay, so it'd be a known sample.
Correct.
Okay. And your results in this case, your interpretations, you stated there was a DNA profile obtained from the earbud swabs that was not sufficient for comparison purposes. Is that the same thing that you were saying for in record number 4?
Correct, yes, it wasn't enough DNA there to make any determinations.
And interpretation number 2 is for the fabric mattress pad cover stain. Why did you assume that it originated from one individual at genetically typed as well?
So when I looked at that DNA profile from that mattress pad cover, there was only 1 or 2 types, base location, which tells me that's only 1 person in the sample. I could tell they were male because there was a Y. If it's female, it'll normally be an X present at the locations that determine sex. So I determined that it was 1 individual and they were male.
Okay, and you determined that based on Jarvis Butts' known buckle, he was excluded from the mattress pad cover stain?
Correct, he was excluded from that.
And in interpretation number 3, there's the plastic mattress cover piece swabs. You assumed that there was DNA profiles from 4 individuals, which at least 1 was male.
Correct.
Explain that.
So once again, I look at each of those locations. And like I said, there's 1 or 2 at each spot. I can also see how they line up with each other. Your DNA will be about the same height at each location, those 2 types. So if 1 is much bigger, that would also tell me that it's 2 people. So in this case, it indicated that there was 4 individuals in this sample. And that at least 1 of them was male.
Okay, and then you made actually a hypothesis and results as it relates to the plastic mattress cover piece swab. Explain, first go through what's the hypothesis?
So I use a mixture interpretation software called StarMix. And what the software does is it breaks that mixture down into its individual components and it determines which profiles would best fit in that mixture. And using frequencies from the population, I can compare known samples and it will give me a likelihood ratio, which is how many times more likely that that individual contributed or did not contribute to that mixture than a random individual in the population.
Okay, so in this case, you compared this to a known sample from Jarvis Butts and 3 unknown unrelated.
I only compared him, the hypothesis is that it would be Jarvis Butts and 3 unrelated unknown contributors, or hypothesis 2 or idea 2 is that it's just 4 unknown unrelated individuals. So it compares those 2 ideas and then provides that likelihood ratio.
And you determined it was very strong support that Jarvis Butts was not a contributor to the plastic mattress cover swaps.
Correct. 750 billion times more likely that it originated from those 4 unknown unrelated individuals than Jarvis Butts and 3.
Moving on to record number 6. What evidence did you analyze here?
I received shower drain swaps.
And just for clarification purposes, back in record number 5 and in record number 6, these mattress cover pads, plastic mattress pads, shower drain socks, do you have any idea where these are coming from?
No, they were just given to me in a tube from a previous analyst.
Okay. All right, so you said you did shower drain swaps. What was your hypothesis of this?
So I determined that there was, once again, 4 individuals in that sample, with at least one of them being a male.
And so your hypotheses were essentially the same thing as the.
It was 3.6 octillion times more likely if it originated from NaZiyah Harris than if it was from an unrelated unknown contributor. And this provides very strong support that NaZiyah Harris is the contributor to that black hoodie stain swab. And then I compare Jarvis Butts as well, and he's excluded from it, his single source samples.
Okay, and would that be because you found that it was only from one individual genetically typed as female?
Correct, yeah, when comparing him, he was excluded.
When you say octillion, not a math person, how many zeros is that?
That is 27 zeros.
Okay. And in interpretation number 4, we have this black hoodie swabs in that's 5CD. And you had two analyses here. One with Jarvis and one with NaZiyah. What did you find as it relates to the comparison with Jarvis?
So the black hoodie swabs, and generally these are taken to see who may have possibly worn it or skin cells opposed to stain swabs. So I determined that this was from 3 individuals. There were 3 individuals in that sample, and at least one of them genetically typed as male. And when comparing it to Jarvis Butts, it was approximately 2.1 million times more likely if it originated from Jarvis Butts and 2 unrelated unknown contributors than if it originated from 3 unrelated unknown contributors. And this provides very strong support that Jarvis Butts is a contributor to the black hoodie swabs.
And what about the comparison to NaZiyah?
When comparing NaZiyah Harris, it was 97 sextillion times more likely if it originated from NaZiyah Harris and 2 unrelated unknown contributors than if it originated from 3 unknown unrelated contributors. And this also is very strong support that NaZiyah Harris is a contributor to the black hoodie swabs.
And how many zeros after sextillion?
Sextillion is 21. And just for reference, anything over 1 million is considered very strong support.
And next interpretation is to the pink bodysuits that was. And you performed this assuming there was 2 individuals. What was your comparison as it relates to Jarvis Butts?
Comparing to Jarvis Butts, it was 6.3 times more likely if it originated from Jarvis Butts and 1 unrelated unknown contributor than if it originated from 2 unrelated unknown contributors. And this provides limited support that Jarvis Butts is a contributor to the pink bodysuit stain swabs.
And as it relates to NaZiyah Harris?
is approximately 60 septillion times more likely if it originated from NaZiyah Harris and one unrelated unknown contributor than if it originated from two unrelated unknown contributors. And this provides very strong support that NaZiyah Harris is a contributor to the pink bodysuit stain.
How many zeros in septillion?
Septillion is 24.
Then interpreted the pink bodysuit, regular swabs of it. You determined that there was two individuals, at least one was typed male.
Correct.
Tell me your comparison with Jarvis Butts.
It was 24 trillion times more likely if it originated from two unrelated unknown contributors than if it originated from Jarvis Butts and two and one unrelated unknown contributor. And this provides very strong support that Jarvis Butts is not a contributor to the pink bodysuit swabs.
And you had said previously, just the swabs of items, you said they're more related to like a wearer ID type thing?
Generally, if it's possible stain, blood stain, semen stain, it'll have the word stain. When it's just swabs of, generally it is just swabs looking for who was possibly wearing that item. But I did not take the swab, so that person would be able to tell exactly.
And for the comparison with NaZiyah Harris, what did you find there?
It was 150 sextillion times more likely if it originated from NaZiyah Harris and one unrelated unknown contributor than if it was originated from two unrelated unknown contributors, which is very strong support that NaZiyah Harris is a contributor to the pink bodysuit swabs.
I think we said previously that was 21 zeros.
Sextillion, yes.
And what were your findings as it relates to interpretation number 7 of the fabric mattress pad stain cover?
So in the earlier report, we did not have a known sample from NaZiyah Harris. So I went back and compared her to those previously submitted evidence samples, one of which was the fabric mattress pad cover stain, which she was excluded as a contributor to that stain. Also to the plastic mattress cover piece swabs, which you'll remember that was 4 individuals. When comparing her, it was 430 million times more likely if it originated from 4 unrelated unknown contributors than if it originated from NaZiyah Harris and 3 unrelated unknown contributors. And this was very strong support that NaZiyah Harris is not a contributor to that plastic mattress cover piece swabs. The final was the shower drain swabs. That was also 4 individuals. And that was 13,000 times more likely if it originated from 4 unrelated unknown contributors than if it originated from NaZiyah Harris and 3 contributors. And that was strong support that NaZiyah Harris is not a contributor to those shower drain swabs.
And